Okay. Lil Nishmas, Avi Moiri, Reb Yaakov Yehuda, Ben Harav, of Shlomo Yosef, Arena Kaparas Mishpavi. We're holding. I'm back after the, I think I look a little different. You can see, last video was like, so we're holding Daf Tezayin, Amud Beis. The last statement of Amar Rabbi Yitzchak. Rabbi Yitzchak said many statements from the previous page. Last one we discussed was that you have to go greet your lahagbil pnei rabbi, you have to go greet your master, your teacher, your Rebbe, and Yontif. And as mentioned, we did a Pnei Yeshua on this, the beautiful Pnei Yeshua, that discusses that the idea is that it's an intermediate. You have to constantly go to your Rebbe, but because you have to also make parnasa, you can't do it during work days. But now we're holding 6 lines from the beginning of the wide lines. 6 lines? Not 5 lines. The line starts Lemezal. Tezayin Amud Beis. Lemezal starts Lemezal. V'Omer Rabbi Yitzchak. Rabbi Yitzchak said, Chayiv Odom L'Tayr As Atzmei B'Regel. The person has to be metayr himself, purify himself on Yontif during the Yom Tovim. Pesach, Shavuos, Sukkot, Shonim Kippur, obviously. Shenemar, what's the proof? It says in a pasuk, we just had it, I think now in Pasha Shmini, that it talks about the animals, and it says v'za chazer v'sa neves, the chazer is the chazer, yeah, the pig. Neves is the rabbit, and so all these different. The Torah mentions many different animals that have one of the two things, either chews its cud or has split hooves, but doesn't have both. And the Torah says, what does the Torah say? Do not eat from their flesh. And if it's a carcass, if the animal died, do not touch the carcass. So now the Gemarrah is basically going to say, establish how do we learn from here that this is Yontif. So Yitzchak didn't say it clearly. And the Brayse explains it. It says in the pasuk that no one, not a Yid, not a Kohen, not a Levi or Yisrael, should touch a dead carcass of one of these animals that we don't eat. Would we think that a Yid should really be careful of touching a dead animal? B'chlal? The pasuk says don't touch that animal. Since when do we have that? What's it called? We don't have such a tzivui to be constantly every single day to be careful not to touch dead animals.
Because
it says in tummy, but exactly. But the Gemarrah is going to say a kohen is not allowed to touch a dead body. Why? Because he has to do the service. He has to do the service in the Mikdash. So, but the Torah only it tells the kohen that you can't touch a dead body. It doesn't tell the kohen that you can't touch a dead carcass. It doesn't say anywhere. It doesn't say that anywhere. And here's the thing. If the Torah would have wanted the kohen to be careful not to touch a dead carcass and a dead body, then all the Torah had to say was, do not touch a dead carcass. And we know the halacha of touching a dead carcass is that the halachas of purifying is much less severe than the halachas of touching a dead body. And we would know, if I can't touch a dead carcass, which the purifying way to get purified is a much easier, the whole thing is more lenient, it's an easier thing. So for sure, kohen is not allowed to touch a dead body. But the Torah doesn't say that. The Torah says you can't touch a dead body, a human body, not a carcass. So here, a Yisrael that we know was never commanded not to touch a dead body, for sure, he can touch a dead carcass. So if that's the case,
never commanded to touch a dead body because he's not a kohen, so of course he can touch a dead carcass.
Yeah, even a kohen can touch a dead carcass, and then for sure Yisrael can touch a dead carcass because he was never commanded not to touch a dead body, a human body. So then, what does it mean? Let's go. What does it mean that you shouldn't touch that carcass? So the Gemarrah explains this. Let's talk about Yontif. So the Gemarrah, would you say that this means that a Yid should not touch a Yisrael, should not touch a dead carcass? Talmud loymar, no. The Bnei Aharon, it says, Emel Kahanim Bnei Aharon lenefesh lo yitam ba'anov. Do not become impure for any dead body. Okay, but the Yidden, the Yisraelim, did not get such a mitzvah. The touching a dead body, the Kehanim do not, they have a hazard, have a warning not to touch that body. And the Yidden, the Israelim do not have that warning. To Makala, the Kolchken, for sure, to Makala, much easier to which Kehanim were never commanded not to touch. The Yidden also don't have to touch. Very simple share for the Gemarrah. So basically, the Gemarrah has come to say that to put this, the pasuk simply state as is doesn't make sense. You're allowed to touch that carcass of an animal. Now, thus, the halacha is that during Yom Tov we purify ourselves extra. And from here, many people have this minhag that maybe if you don't go to mikveh every single day, okay. Some people go to mikveh every Shabbos, but at least go to mikveh every Yom Tov, every Yom Tov and throughout Yom Tov. Some people have that minhag. Rav Krus Bedoy. Rav Krus Bedoy gesagt. Come teach you that on Yom Tov, Belegel and Yom Tov, during the whole 7-8 days of Yom Tov, you should not even touch a dead carcass. Koinim and Israelim. But throughout the year, Koinim are allowed to touch, and Israelim are allowed to touch. Nothing's going to happen. You're not going to come to it. The only tumah is Masheches.
I'm saying it's actually a Isser.
In Yom Tov, it's not so much of an Isser, but it's the mitzvah. He learns in here the mitzvah that chayev odom l'tayat. Like you have to bechlal be in a different mindset of the Hallel on. We had this already in Gemarrah. I didn't know it's cotton or before earlier in Chagiga we had this whole idea to eat but the Hallel, the whole Yom Tov. Okay. So I don't know what made me search this, because Bedoy is an interesting name, and I put in how many times does there Klus Bedoy appear in Talmud? So it appears twice, according to Google, Gemini, ChatGPT, or whatever. It brings this Gemarrah and the Gemarrah somewhere else, and then Shalmi a few times. Okay, so I had to figure out what's this Klus Bedoy. It's very interesting.
Antibiotic? What is it?
So 1 second, it's very interesting. So 2 things. Number 1, my father, in the Kabbalah Meshkove, always used to test us, like when he came to Pasha of Tzitzis, if we are wearing Klus Bedin. What's Klus Bedin? Tate, what's Klus Bedin? So look at the Targum. Tzitzis, the Targum of Tzitzis is Klus Bedin. That's a Targum. So someone is bringing, the Oluch is bringing down that of Klus Bedoi, even though it was a Moed living at Tzlal, he was very makbid on a mitzvah and tzitzis, and that's why he got his nickname Klus Bedoi, as in Klus Bedin, which is the where tzitzis, where the Targum uncle is called tzitzis.
Could he mention other places by Israel?
Could be. That could be. But Klus Bedoi, as is, according to, again, I'm not a Baki B'Shas. I know people that are. I should ask them, but they didn't have time. But I can't. I've heard once a Shiur guy says, in Gans Shas, and I'm like, okay, that I can't do. Not yet.
There was once a guy in Eretz Yisrael that wore like 4 pairs of tzitzis.
Yeah.
I've seen him.
Oh, Schneeball. Yeah. So
You've seen him? You saw him?
So here's the story.
By Yemi Zucker. He was outside Yemi Zucker's place.
Here's a story. So as I was reading, I read this cute story. So the cute story is like this. So there's a bacher from Yeshiva. So there's a bacher in Yeshiva that goes onto the bus, traveling in Israel onto the bus, and he's a serious bacher. So he opens up his Gemarrah and starts learning. And okay, next stop, someone walks onto the bus. A guy full of tattoos. He's holding a newspaper, not a very clean or neat, nice newspaper. Holding an open Echad. And he has headphones on his loud boom, loud music, goyish music with vulgar, words and everything. And he decides to sit down in no other mamish next to this bacher. So this bacher is trying to learn, and this tipos, this interesting guy is sitting down right next to him. So the bacher starts moving away a little bit. So this guy turns to the bacher, like, Mayesh, why are you moving away? So he says, I just came out of Sharat Tzedek. Sharat Tzedek, the hospital. I came out of Sharat Tzedek. I have Klus Bedin. So the guy says, wow, is it contagious? Is it contagious? He says, yeah, it's contagious. It's very contagious. So the guy gets up and leaves. On the bus, there was a doctor. Doctor goes over to the bus and says, listen, I'm a doctor. There's no such illness called Klus Bedin. What are you hacking and trying? So he said, okay, number 1, I did come out of Sharat Tzedek. And number 2, I have Klus Bedin, my tzitzis. And I didn't say an illness. I said I have Klus Bedin. And he asked me, is it contagious? So yes, because a mitzvah, Gadol is mitzvah. So therefore, I didn't lie. I didn't lie one bit. But I got my piece. Anyways, it's an interesting story. Auf kurz bedeutet gesagt. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Shloisha Tzvarim Miftachim Rosh Hashana. 3 books are opened up in Rosh Hashana. Echad Shel Hashoim Gemurim, one of complete Hashoim. Ve'echad Shel Tzadikim Gemurim, one of Tzadikim Gemurim. Ve'echad Shel beinoni. So what is Hashoim, Tzadikim, and beinoni? Pashtus, it means, Hashoim means majority of Avedas. A tzaddik means majority of mitzvahs. He has the majority of his actions were mitzvahs actions. And a beinoni is slam in the middle. Is in the middle. So 3 books are opened up. One for a tzaddik, Rasha, and a beinoni. So tzaddikim gemurim nichtav la'alta. Right away, tzaddikim get inscribed and sealed in a book of life, la'alta l'chaim. Hashoim gemurim nichtav la'alta l'misa. The Shoim, complete the Shoim, they have majority of Avedas, right away get inscribed and sealed for death. Beinonim, exactly half Avedas, half mitzvahs, Tuluim v'ayim d'mashana d'mkipurim. They stand in the balance. Yeah, v'zochen nechtav l'chaim, v'zochen nechtav l'misa. If they are zoicha, they did something, or for whatever schus, they go to chaim, and if not, misa.
Is it even possible to be beinoni? I'm saying according to this.
Oh, very good. So this is obviously the meforshim. We learned this before the Shana. This is the meforshim, like, really don't like this statement. I mean, they like the statement, but they give more explanation because it can't be that we're talking about to this world. We can't talk about really. How many Hashem do you see walking around that you know that they are oiva, b'fad hesia, and all these avedas, and they live? And how many tzaddikim do we know that are such tzaddikim there? And right, God takes away the best people, what you say, right? So Tosfos and many meforshim ask this question. Tosfos basically, how's it possible? The last line of Tosfos, the last line of Tosfos, not going to go through all Tosfos, but that's what Tosfos is asking. What are we talking about? Not in this world. We're talking about the world to come. So the Shoshana, the Eibusha looks at you. Are your deeds worthy enough that you retain or you get more Olam Haba? But not that I'm going to take you away from this world. That's a different cheshbon. And the same thing on Hashem also. Am I taking away some Olam Haba or am I adding some Olam Haba? What's the story? That's the way Tosfos is explaining it. So there's a few other meforshim. Yeah, I printed some papers. I'm not going to get stuck on it, but okay. Tosfos did. So Zarushan, and he basically said like this. It's not, you can't say that this is mamish the way it is, that he lives and died, because we see tzaddikim that die and Hashem that live. The Eibishter looks at certain deeds. Did you do a deed this year that even though that you are Rasha, but I will give it a chance to live? I feel it in Moshoim, but did you do something so great that I can melamed schus to say that shall live? The Shoim badin, the same goes to Shoim badin. Shnim tzal chayva lamus af b'shay tzadikim. Not that the guy is a Rasha, the guy is a tzaddik, but did he do such an aveda that he's deserving of to die this year? And then
That the guy who's on a higher level, you have more expectations for him, and therefore, even if he does a little avera, he's still going to get.
That is mentioned, but that's not. That is mentioned. That's very good. That's mentioned, but that's not discussed here because we're talking about shoim and tzaddikim. But even for the shoim, it means that the guy's a tzaddik. But on the other hand, also, if a Rasha Gomer does a mitzvah of pidyon shavuim or something, we have stories where she stuck the thing into the wall and she was supposed to die and she gave food to the. If you do a mitzvah that saves you, that's it. So he could be a person that is maybe not worthy of continuing to live, and he did something this year. So that's according to this, what he's talking about Elam Hazeh. But he explains it that we're not judging according to the entirety. We're looking, am I going to find a good deed or am I not going to find a good deed? Even if you're tzaddik, I'm going to find something so bad, or even if you're Rasha, I'm going to find something so good. That's the way that Tosfos explains. The Rashba says 2 things. The number one, the Rashba says that it's the same as the Tosfos did. The first one says the same thing as the Tosfos did. that we're talking about, that the little bit different, that the Eibishter is judging him, is he didn't do a lot of mitzvahs, so let him live longer here, but he's not going to be able to go into Olam Haba. And if it's a tzaddik, I'll take him away early because of his Avedas, but let him have Olam Haba. That's number one. Number two, it's very interesting. Number two, it's talking about Olam Haba. That Olam Haba, Taka, like Tosa says, that we're talking about, do you get more Olam Haba? Am I taking away Olam Haba? The second part of number two, he asks a very interesting question, and he leaves with a tzaddikim, that there's no. Even if someone is a wicked rasha in his entire life, and the last moment before he dies, he makes tshuva, when he goes to the world to come, so therefore, what's pshat that on Rosh Hashana we are now inscribing him for good or for bad? If it all depends at the last moment of his life. If someone is a tzaddik his entire life, and at the end, like the Rambam, it brought in the Rambam, it says, like, it says, I made all these mitzvahs, it was a waste of time. Even though I made all these mitzvahs, nothing is ein maskil shum schus ba'olam, says the Rambam. Nothing is, we don't remind of anything. So that basically the Rashba says, it doesn't make sense. And the Rashba answers, the emes is that only God knows if someone does taka. The way I understood it, the way that if someone does tshuva taka, if someone doesn't do tshuva, or how this works out, what's it called? Only the Eibush knows exactly the things. The Rambam basically brought in the Rambam because Rambam says la halacha that number one, the beginning, if someone has more avedas than mitzvahs, right away he dies. Forget about Rosh Hashana. Right away he dies. That doesn't work out with the Gemarrah. But Rambam also brings down the next halacha, kol mishanicham, in the second part of same way they also calculate when he dies if he's worthy of living longer. Same thing also Rosh Hashana, Mishnim tzaddik lechta l'chaim, Mishnim rosh lechta l'misa, Abenu tzadik l'dim kippurim, Maso tshuva nechta l'chaim, Lav lechta l'misa. Basically the same idea that it is lamata. We're talking about down here in this world, and it's a signing on your fate. Okay, but now, so we have 3 books that are being opened up, 3 svarim. Where do we have this from? Where do we have this idea that there's 3 svarim? A sefer of rasha, tzaddik, rasha, and a beinoni.
Where does the Gemarrah find that? Is that the other?
The Gemara is like, where do we see that such 3 books exist?
My question was, is it even possible to be a beinoni? Is it possible to have exactly?
So maybe I didn't bring it down here.
The Rambam says that you should always think.
Oh, bidiyuk? You mean exactly like?
Yeah.
It's like,
I did. 1 second. I did see.
Good question. Actually.
I did see.
Goes up.
It's probably, I don't know.
The Marsha or the Pnei Yeshua, one of them, I believe is the Pnei Yeshua. He basically says, Rashi says a beinoni is a mechza al mechza, and Tosfos agrees to it. Tosfos says also a beinoni is a mechza mechza, and either the Marsha or the Pnei Yeshua, check the Marsha, it says that if not them saying this, I would say that this is wrong.
Marsha wouldn't say that. The Pnei Yeshua couldn't say that. Pnei Yeshua is an achim.
Yeah, it's fine, but he could still say that if not then, and then he explains how it would work out. And he says that it's not possible, the Metzias, to have someone that has half and half. It's not shaykh. Exactly, he calculated those avedas and those mitzvahs. I mean, it's not shaykh to have someone that's mamish exactly in the middle. Although, and he says he agrees, and later on in the Gemarrah you'll see that there's a different cheshbon. But anyways, let's go back to the Gemarrah. So it says, Rab Chus Bedoy says 3 books are being opened up. Where do we know that? So Amar Rav Ovin, Micah, where do we know that from? Says Rav Ovin, it says in Pasuk Azoy, David HaMelech had a very, pass me that helm over there, please. David HaMelech had a very interesting kapitel Tehillim. When you reach 68, you will say this kapitel Samach Tes. Very, very interesting kapitel. In the beginning, the first few psukim, David HaMelech basically tells the Eibishter, or tells the story, how life has been really bad. Help me, Hashem, ki bo imay mad nafesh. Mamish, I am still here. and he goes on and on saying how that how I suffered from my enemies. Yeah. So yeah. So basically, we're going on and on how he was estranged, and then Pasuk Yudalet, Vanit Filos Lecha Hashem Esarotzen and Lekim Barav Chazdecha Aneni B'Shech. I'm asking you, Hashem, please, Aneni, with the answer me. And he asks the Eibishter not to save him from all these troubles and distress. And then he goes, that's number one. I have trouble. Save him from the trouble. Number three, punish the people that did bad to me. And the curses in there are poetic. It's mamish. Yishul chol niflein lefach of shleim moikesh. Any peace that there should have peace, nothing. Shvoich aleim zamecha. Pour out your wrath on them. And then the one thing he says here, Yemachu mesefer chayim v'im tzadikim al yichoseivu. Erase them from the book of life and don't write them in with tzadikim. Okay? So the Gemarrah says very interesting thing. So basically, there's three things being said over here. Yemachu mesefer. There's a sefer, a book. There's a sefer called also Chaim, a book of life. And im tzadikim al yichoseivu, don't write them with tzadikim. So the Gemarrah says, Yemachu, we're 8 lines, tez.ב-יז.א amad beis, 8 lines in the bottom. Yemachu mesefer is the sefer shel Hashem. Take me, erase them from the sefer. This is the sefer of Hashem Gemarrah. Chaim, don't write them in the book of Chaim. That is obviously the sefer shel tzadikim. Ve'im tzadikim al yichoseivu. There must be a third book that is not mentioned here, but don't write them with tzadikim. That is pointing to the sefer shel beinoni. But here it's interesting. David HaMelech basically asked the Eibishter, for sure in the book of tzadikim, the book of life, don't put them in. Beinoni also don't put them in. But why not write them into a book of Hashem? Let him write in the book of Hashem, though. What's it called? So the way the meforshim explain it is that David HaMelech basically asked them, let them float, let them not have peace. When they pass away, because of such big enemies, let them not have peace at all. Nishda, my Babi Allah Shalom used to say after Shalom fell into a coma after the disengagement, Mevilim Nishdu, Mevilim Nishda. It was, for 15, 20 years. How long did it take for him to die, Shalom? Shalom. Took him years. Yeah, so my Babi used to say, Mevilim Nishdu, Mevilim Nishda. It's like, David HaMelech basically wanted, Nishda him, Nishda her. Don't even put him into Gehenna. They don't even deserve the ability to cleanse himself. Okay, so we see this is one proof. Moshe Rabbeinu told the Eibishter that if you don't forgive the Yidden, if not, erase me from the sefer that you wrote. So, mechenina, erase me. Who gets erased? Which sefer is a good sefer? The sefer shel tzadikim. Sifra, the Eibishter sefer, Mesifracha, the Eibishter's Hakul Toiv, everything is good about the Eibishter. So that must be the sefer of tzadikim. Ashekosafta that you wrote, basically, this is a sefer that you wrote out of your goodness of your heart. That is beinoni, the sefer beinoni. So therefore, we have two proofs how we know that there are 3 books opened up on Rosh Hashana. Tani b'shama oimim. A very interesting Gemarrah is a machlokes and b'shama mitzil what happens with a beinoni. B'shama oimim. Gimel Kitais Hen Yom Adin. This is not talking about Shoshana, it's talking about the Yom Adin. When Mashiach will come, there are 3 groups of what will happen, because then there will be a big Yom Adin, a big day of judgment. So Azoi, Achas shel tzadikim gemurim, ve'achas shel shoshoim gemurim, ve'achas shel beinonim. Tzadikim gemurim nichtav v'nichtav la'alta.
See over here, it says beinoni, not necessarily someone that's exactly mechzal.
Look at Menashe, bottom Menashe. Beinoni, mechzal. This is talking about this Gemarrah. So again, here they also have an issue with this, because technically we're talking about people after the resurrection. So we're talking about Tchias HaMeisim. Tchias HaMeisim comes after Gehinnom and after Gan Eden, which means you were judged already. If you were worthy, you went to Gan Eden. If you had to be go punishment, you went to 11 months in Gehenna. So what kind of judgment is there now? We're judged already. So to explain it here, the judgment is, are you worthy to be resurrected for Tchias HaMeisim? You could be that you took away some of the Avedas, but maybe your nefesh is not worthy fully to be taken out. That was one mefarish. I bring it down? No, I didn't bring it down. Where did I see it? Gedenkich shenisht. Oh, Tosfos, clear straight out Tosfos. Vei madin kishichi amazing gemucher kom. Even though they were already judged whether to go Gan Eden or Gehenim, so it says because of the nefesh, the soul live on in Olam Haba, the Olam Atchiyah that you're going to live forever. Is it going to be worthy the nefesh to live forever? There's people that have finished their sentence in Gehenna and now they can live forever, and some people not. The test doesn't mention them, some people not. So that's going to be the judgment. So there are three groups of tzaddikim. That's what the Bashama says. Clear cut. Dasha, you go Dalton, Gehenna, and tzaddik, you go Leil Maba, and beinoni. What happens with the beinoni? So it says, tzaddikim. One second. Tzaddikim gemurim nichlam nechalta. Chayel alta chayel. Hashem Gemarrah, last line of the Gemarrah. Nichtav la'alta l'genim shnev rab mishena aretz ad mishena ad mas ofer yokitzu el l'chayel mavay l'chir pois l'doin olam. Many of the sleepers of the earth, basically dead bodies, yokitzu, they will be awakened. Mashiach comes. El l'chayel olam. Some tzaddikim will live forever. Ve'el l'chir pois l'doin olam will go into the abyss. What is it called?
Abyss.
Abyss. Thank you. They will go to Gehenna. Done. What's with the beinonim? Says the Gemarrah.
And forever, Gehenna.
Says the Gemarrah. Beinonim Yordin leGehenna, go down in Gehenna. Mashiach comes. They have to go through another round of Gehenna. Umetzavtzefim, and they scream, they cry, and they beg the Eibishter. And Rashi says Shoachas will be for 1 hour in Gehenna. The oil in the Eibush takes them out. Shenema vehevesias ashlishi. So there's three groups. The third group, the one that's not, it's undecided what's going to happen to them, but the beinoni, vehevesias ashlishis bo'eish. I'm going to put them through the fire of Gehenna. Vetziraftim kitzoyfus achesef, and through the fire I will purify them like a purified silver with fire. Ubechantim kivchones azav, and then I'm going to check out if they are as pure like we check gold. And then hui kare b'shmi, the beinoni is going to call my name, vani ene oisai, and I'm going to answer him. I'm going to pull him out of Gehenna. That's Bashama. Bashama says the beinoni, which is a mechza al mechza, has to go into Gehenna, and then he will cry and will go out. Vani ene oisai. V'aleim Chana. Chana said, Hashem memis mechayim oichal v'yol. David takes you down, but also brings you back up, and that it goes about the beinonim in the times of Tchiyas HaMesim. But still, let me know. The Silla say no. The Shoim, yeah, they go down. However, Tzaddikim, yeah, they're signed and sealed. They're good. They're safe. But the beinonim, B'Silla Emrim, the Rav Chesed. The Eibishter is called the Rav Chesed. He's a very kind. The Eibishter is a kind Eibishter. Mate Klape Chesed. He pulls his Chesed towards the beinonim, and therefore they don't even have to go. He forgives them for their sins, and they don't even have to go to Gehenna. And that's what David said. I am beloved by the Eibishter because the Eibishter listened to my voice. And that goes about the beinoni. The whole capital in Tehillim that we say Bahalal. The loisi v'li Yoshia. The loisi, I am dal, I am poor in mitzvahs, yet still v'li Yoshia, I am worthy to be helped. Okay, so B'Silil says, but there's another group. There's a beinonim that will not have to go through Gehenna. But then there's another group. Poishe Yisrael begufam. Yidden that were pesher, they sinned with their bodies, and Poishe Umas Oilam begufam, and the Umas Oilam that sinned with their bodies. So what that is going to be, Poishe Yisrael begufam is Karkafta de lemonach tefillin. Someone that never put on tefillin. That's what Gemarrah is going to say. So someone that never put on tefillin is called a Poishe Yisrael beguf, because his body never put on tefillin. So no, Karkafta is what the Gemarrah talks about. I don't know. Good question, but it's not called a Karkafta. However, we'll go through soon the whole parsha of Karkafta. I don't know if I printed everything. It doesn't look like. Oh yeah. Okay. So that's the Gemarrah said. Poishes al begufan and poishes al begufan. Yodim legehinam, they go down in Gehenna, v'nidoyne b'yid b'schoidesh, and they are judged for 12 months. V'acher yid b'schoidesh, after 12 months, gufan kola, their body disintegrates, disappears. V'nishmosan esrefes, and the neshama gets burnt. V'ruach mefazaltan, and a wind blows, either it blows away the neshama, or the burnt neshama, or the body. Tachas kapos ragel tzadikim, under the feet of the tzadikim. Shenemar ve'asoisem comes from the word isa, from a word like dough that needs to be kneaded. Ve'asoisem v'shoim, you need the shoim ki yu'ev tachas kapos raglechem, because there will be dust under your palms of your feet.
That means that someone who's not a patient after some point, according to Basil,
very good. Okay, very good.
holds that Hashem is your Chesed, and the beinoni, they don't even go to the Gehenna.
So right now we have.
They do the regular Rishayim. They do go to Gehenna, but they come out at some point.
Okay, very good, Levi, very good. Then so we have 4. Now we have, according to Basil, we have tzaddikim. You go to Olam Haba, the shoim go down. Beinonim, according to Basil, they don't have to go down, and then they have poishes al begufan. And then there's another one. Avol haminim, people that go against the Torah. Rashi says, min ha'anoshim asher hofchu divrei Elokim chaim l'lo. They took the words of the Eibishter and turned them to bad. Going to doikim by susim. They know Torah and they're going to get it. V'shikafu v'masoilos, and people that are Muslim, they are informers. Ve'ho apikosim is really, she says, mevazik tamid chacham, that embarrasses tamid chachamim. So if they shekafu b'toyah v'kafu b'chesed hamesim, they denied, or they so when it gets, they didn't believe in chesed hamesim and toyah v'shapir shem derach tzibur. Many people erased these few words. Shenasnu chitisam be'eretz chaim, and they put their fear on other people. V'shechotu, and they sinned, and not only did they sin, v'shechtiu zarabim, and they made others sin. Rav ben Avad v'chaveirov and his friends. So that group, yodim legehinam, they go down to Gehenna. They never climb out. They never also disintegrate. They never disappear. Which means they're going to be in a lot of pain constantly. At least the poishes al begufam, after 12 months, there's rest, there's peace. But those guys will suffer the whole time. How do we know that? I believe Shabbos or Chodesh. It says there that which we learned last time. In the Mashiach is going to come, the tzaddikim that come to the Beis Hamikdash, Chodesh and Shabbos, they will go out and they will see the dead bodies, which we're talking about the people that are suffering Gehenna, that went against me. What is that proof? Basically, that they are never going to disappear. That these people are never going to disappear. Okay? Sagt die Gemarrah weiter. The Gemarrah goes weiter and says that even though Gehinam Kala, Gehinam Kala, even if the Gehenna finishes and there's no more Gehenna because Mashiach is going to be pure, they will not cease to suffer. They will still suffer. Shenemar v'tzuram levaloy sho'ol mizvuloy. They will. No, it's 2 lines later. Gehinam Kala ve'in Kala shenem v'tzuram levaloy sho'ol mizvuloy. That they are their face, tzulam, or their form, the form. They will go down to Sheol, to the abyss, the Gehenna. Mizvuloi. In Mizvul, basically, there won't be a zvul. Zvul is a house. There won't be a place to house them, because even though the Gehenna is gone, they will still be in the Sheol. They will still be in the abyss. Still be in that suffering. The kol kach lama, because they put their hands against Zvul. What's Zvul? Shenema mizvuloi. Vein Zvul Beis Hamikdash. Went against the Beis Hamikdash. Shenema bonei bonisi bei Zvulach. I built a house called Zvul. The Beis Hamikdash called Zvul. But Lema Chana, and Chana again said, Hashem, again Chana from Shmuel's mother. And what did Chana say? Hashem yechatu meriva of all of yechad is to break apart. And that's basically what it is. That they're going to be broken, but they're never going to cease to exist. The people that are suffering constantly, they look like a burnt bottom of a pot during the day of judgment. Who is going to be that? Rava was born in Mechuzah, and it was a shiva in Mechuzah. When Abaya passed away, Abaya was in Pumpadisa, all in Iran, Iraq, that area. When Abaya passed away, the yeshiva moved over to Lava's city, Mechuzah, and it was there for 14 years afterwards. It was Rosh Hashiva. But it seems like Lava suffered from the people in the city. That's what it seems like. This. Who are the people that are going to suffer? They're going to stay in Gehenim and never going to climb out of this. Mishapire Shapire b'nei Mechuzah, from the best of the best people in Mechuzah. Even the best people are rotten, and Mechuzah are rotten. He didn't get along with the people in Mechuzah apparently. Or Mekayim b'nei Gehinim, I call them the sons of Gehinim. Okay, so basically now we have the story. The what? We have the Poshis Begufan, people that sinned with their body, the Yidden, and going to sin with their body. They suffer for 12 months, and then they disintegrate, disappear, the neshama disappears, and they're done. The meaning, apikosim, etc., choyta machti, someone makes someone sin, they don't disappear ever, they continuously suffer. But the Gemarrah is going to ask this now. He's going to analyze Basil said. Basil said, V'rav chesed, mata klab chesed. Basil says that when it comes to beinoni, the Eibishter is going to show his kindness. Mata klab chesed. He's going to show his kindness. He's going to show him chesed. Fredi Gemarrah. Beishamai says there's a pasuk ve'ashlishis bo'esh, that the third group, which is basically the beinoni, I'm going through put him through the fire, and you say they don't have to go through the fire. How does that work? And for the Gemarrah, so the still comes up. There's another group in beinoni. There's what's it called? And there's another group. So there's going to be like this. There's going to be tzaddikim. There's going to be beinonim that have mechza, half avedas mitzvahs. In beinonim, there are people that have half avedas, half mitzvahs, but one of the avedas is an aveda beguf, is the Karkafta, or one of the avedas of the goyim is going to be aveda beguf. So that aveda is so strong that even though it's mechza, they have to go through some suffering. They will go down to Gehenim, and eventually they'll climb out. If there's someone that's a dasha that has more avedas than mitzvahs, and one of the avedas is Poshis Begufan, that they did not put up film, then done. If it's a dasha, like you said before, that has majority of avedas, but the aveda of Shebeguf is not included, then meforshim say such a person will actually go out. He has to go through Gehenim, but will actually go out. Hasam bepoishis Begufan. It says that's talking about this Poshis Begufan. For the Poshis Begufan, he said they go in and disappear. And for the Gemarrah, no, Basil says Kizlesle utakanta beroiv avoinos. But when don't they have an atakana? When they have majority of avedas, so they go to Gehenim, disappear. Hacha mechza avoinos mechza schus. The one that has to go down to fire and cry out to the Eibishter and eventually come out. Who is that? That is someone that's a beinoni, but from the avedas that he has, v'is boname von the Poshis Begufan, and he has aveda Poshis Begufan, and because of that, l'sagile the lav avesa l'shlishis boish. It's even though he's a beinoni that has mechza, but it's not enough for him not to go through the fire. He has to go through the fire. So basically, in short, you have a tzaddik, you have a rasha. It's clear. Sorry, tzaddik. You have a beinoni that has mechza, half and half. Still says he does not go into get. A beinoni that has mechza, but one of the avedas is that aveda will have to go down and eventually cry out and come up. And a beinoni and if he has majority of avedas, then he and what's it and he won't cry.
Yeah, majority of avedas, and one of them is Karkafta.
Yeah, then done. But if
then it gets burnt.
Yeah, and if not, the meforshim say, and if not, that they do climb out. So I didn't bring down the meforshim here.
And the lowest level of like min or tzedeki or kaifer mason. Then
Tosfos explains this. I forgot Tosfos explains this. Klesel the kind of Venus. So Tosfos says, okay, Isbo avoid the Pasha Yisrael Begufan, and they also have if someone that has majority of avedas and he has the aveda Pasha Yisrael Begufan, he doesn't come out. In fact, earlier it says if someone has a shoyim, I know Ubim Avoinos, they go to Gehenim, but they don't disappear. So he explains. No, sorry, that's not the test here. Sorry, it's not the test. Where did I see this? What did I mean? Hanano?
You need a meforshim. It's simple logic.
Yeah. I forgot which meforshim, but I saw the one in the meforshim. Okay. In any case, Zakt die Gemarrah. Zakt die Gemarrah also. Back in the Gemarrah. Bim Lav, Rav Chesed, Matak Rav Chesed. And if not, if he doesn't have the avela of Poish Yisrael and has mechza, then Eibusha will take him out. Won't have to go to him again. Oma Valem David, and on that David said, "O hafti kishma Hashem," that I am beloved because Eibusha heard me. Dosh Rav Ma'idich Siva hafti kishma Hashem. What does that mean? O hafti, I feel I'm loved because Eibusha heard me. Oma Knesset Alef Nekadosh Baruch Hu, the Eden told the Eibusha, "Rebbeinu Shleilo, Eibusha." When am I really loved? When do I feel the love? When the moment you hear my begging, my tachnunim. It's like a child. A child says, Tati, Mommy, you don't love me, right? Says, you don't love me. Why not? Because you don't give me a computer. So, Mele, but the truth is, he can't really give it. But here Eden also tell the Eibusha, the only time I feel love is if you listen to me. How does that work out? Zog die Gemarrah weiter. Daloisi velia yeshia. Afa pishe daloni. Even though I'm lowly, I'm poor of mitzvahs. When I'm mitzvahs, lino yeshia. So basically, it's really the opposite. Even though I'm poor and I'm not deserving to be loved or to be helped, the Eibusha helps me anyways because he loves me. That's when I feel the love. Not that because whenever I cry, the Eibusha has to listen to me. No, I'm worthy of being helped, even though I'm not, and that's where I feel the love, even though I'm not worthy of it. So now, what is a Pesher Gasol Beguf? Omarav Karkafta de Lemonach Tefillin. A Karkafta that didn't put on Tefillin. What's Pesher Ubesar Begufon? Omarav Bavela, the famous Avela of having not allowed relationships. Okay, so a Karkafta, what exactly is a Karkafta? So we know a Karkafta is someone that put on Tefillin, and basically there was a whole mivtza that we should go out and find more and more Yidden and take them out from the Cheskas Karkafta. So, but I looked, it doesn't say someone that doesn't put on Tefillin forever. Someone that doesn't put on Tefillin. It doesn't say me'olam. So look, the one that adds the word me'olam is the Rif. Poish Yisrael begufon umayhi. Who is the Poish Yisrael beguf? Karkafta, this is in the paper, Karkafta, de le monach tefillin me'olam. He never put on tefillin. So according to the Liv, if you put on tefillin once, you're not a Karkafta. And that's really what we go by. But Ran says on the same Liv, and technically this is when your question about having a bliss goes in. Any mitzvah that involves your body, that he never kept, he never said Shema, he ate food and he didn't bench, didn't thank Hashem. If it never ever benched, then he's considered a Karkafta in that Indian. But what does Karkafta mean? What is Karkafta? Karkefes, Maze Karkefet, that's the head, the skull, the scalp really. The skull
that never put on tefillin.
The scalp. It's called a Karkefes. Karkafta is someone that did not put on tefillin. Now there's different shittas actually. There's different shittas and we'll finish with that. Tosis brings down one of the shittas where Karkafta the monach tefillin. Interesting, yeah? Amma Rabbi Mitzvah. Is a man to Hillim, Rabbi Lazar, no. Almost all of the Kodesh Baruch didn't tell the Eibush that we want to learn to tell mitzvahs of Bnei Balayla. Elam Bnei, we don't have time. So what do we tell? What do we tell the B'chai mitzvahs tefillin? By the way, you were just by mitzvah, right? Like a year and a half. What's this? What kind of message is this? A mitzvah is about to put on tefillin. It's about to go into yeshiva. We tell him, you want to learn Torah? Put on tefillin. Don't have to learn Torah. What's pshat? No, what's pshat? Does I learn Torah? What's pshat? Mashma says about, and it doesn't say hanichu tefillin. It says kaimu mitzvahs tefillin. In order to be mekayim mitzvahs tefillin, you have to learn the halachas. You have to think about the Eibishter. You have to be mevatel yourself. You have to think of shibud lav hamoyach. It's not hanichu tefillin. It says kaimu. It's a mekayim mitzvah tefillin. Mekayim mitzvah tefillin. You have to learn. So we're not telling them mitzvah b'chal, put on tefillin and you're good. You're good for your life. No, you have to learn. Anyway, so it says there's different shit of Karkafta is. Taisa says one shitta here.
Time mitzvah stone. When you're mekayim, kiyam means make a kiyam mitzvah stone and do mitzvah stone.
That's right. You only can go Friday after Seder. You have to go to Seder first. So Zakta Taisa is like this. So the Maimah says that the Yidden couldn't learn. They didn't have enough time to learn, so he put on tefillin. Taisa says also the opposite. So if someone is not putting on tefillin because he's oisek b'toyle, because he doesn't have, he's pasha learned all the time, is not considered like a kafta. Dawa mechilta, oisek b'toyle, put him on tefillin. But Ibn Atam says another thing. What is like a kafta? If someone doesn't want to put on tefillin because he's disgusted by the retzuos, he doesn't want to put the retzuos in his head. Shemugenes all of retzuos. He does not like the retzuos of the head. But that is called a kafta. So he could be someone that put on tefillin before, but stopped putting on tefillin because he got disgusted by it. That's still called a kafta, according to that opinion. But if he says that he's worried, he's a Yirei Shamayim, he has religious OCD when it comes to cleanliness, and he says I have to be like Elisha Bal Kanofayim, like it says in Shabbos. That Elisha was very careful, so therefore he was able to wear tefillin constantly. And he's a word he wouldn't be able to wear tefillin because he's not going to be constantly in tahara and kedusha. He's not considered like a kafta. Anyways, sometimes he adds more. And if you ever make tshuva, I'm going to be able the tshuva takes care of everything. So therefore, he had to run away. Yeah. So, anyways, that's basically what's like a kafta. So, according we know a kafta is more tefillin. Therefore, we try to put on tefillin as much as we can, and I guess we'll finish next week. Oh, actually, I'm not here. Actually.